no more points. A good friend of the campaign against climate change, Caravan, is Greg Peterson from the University. I'll get this right. University College Union. That's right. He's now. Can't say a few words, Greg. We've been hearing a lot, and rightly so. But if we are going to create climate jobs, we've got to make sure that people are properly skilled so that they are decent jobs. And this is your whole territory, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's certainly the brief I've been given to talk for about 5 minutes on tonight. So, yeah, greetings from the UCU. We were very proud to have our logo on the 2 vans that went up and down the country. And we also issued a press release this afternoon congratulating the campaign on the fantastic work that it's been doing. Yeah, it's probably going to come as no surprise to you, these other speakers have touched on it, the skills gap that exists out there. The sad fact is that if we did actually wake up tomorrow morning and by miracle 1 million climate jobs are out there to be filled, unfortunately we wouldn't have the skills base in this country to actually be able to do that. And that's something that our union sees as very central to what we should be doing. Not as much as I'd like, certainly. There's still a job to be done. I think people touched on that unions have got to devote far more capacity to this if we're really going to actually achieve the demands of this campaign. But it is central to what we do. We're the largest post-16 teaching union in the UK. And it's about the employability not just of our members, but also the students that we teach. Because unless we do actually have a proper policy of greening the curriculum, of introducing education for sustainable development, then this campaign isn't going to get very far. That's one of the reasons that we produced something called the Green Skills Manifesto, because the other thing we realised, although this is central to us, we can't do it on our own. So we set up an organisation called the Green Jobs Alliance to try and give us extra capacity to put this message out there. And it does consist of unions, environmental groups like Greenpeace, Friends of the Earth, and very importantly for us as well, student organisations. I am meeting this afternoon at the TUC with a couple of representatives from the NUS, National Union of Students, and we both agreed that both organisations had to really up our game in terms of mainstreaming education for sustainable development into the heart of what we're doing. So that's why we've produced the manifesto. There's a hell of a job out there, of course, because the whole government skills strategy is about an employer-led demand. And, you know, it's blindingly obvious that that isn't actually going to deliver the goods. I was hoping to come along tonight and, you know, be very up to the minute and, you know, hot off the press the green economy audit, but Murad actually trumped me on that one. Not only that, he got an original copy. I've had to print this out myself. Yeah, basically it's a complete indictment of this whole greenest government ever. I mean, it runs to quite a few pages. You only have to, if you were ever going to have a look at it, go to the first 3 or 4 to read the summary and the recommendations. And certainly one of the main recommendations is that the government must produce a green skills strategy to ensure that skills and training are adequate to meet the aspirations of green economy policies. So that's great, but then of course the rest of it's riddled with, as I say, a clear message that not just the employer-led approach isn't going to work, but also the consumer-led approach, which is what this government is also relying on. And that's nowhere more clearly stated within their ambitions for the Green Deal. The idea that householders who haven't already taken advantage of free loft insulation and cavity wall insulation are suddenly in October going to rush out and take out loans to get this stuff in is ludicrous. The way the Green Deal is currently set up, there's no way that's going to work. And the problem for us in education is that we've got, particularly in the FE sector, lecturers in construction schools and departments who are being made redundant, losing their jobs up and down the country at a time when their skills and training up the workforce has never been more needed. and yet their institutions just won't put on the courses, put on the programmes to actually keep them in work. And the reason for that is because there isn't any real demand out there. Those colleges that actually were at the cutting edge of trying to set a lot of this stuff up have suffered because they've now got a lot of empty seats in the classrooms because people aren't coming through. Because employers don't feel confident that the work's out there. We've heard about all the problems with things like the feed-in tariff and that type of thing. And concerns from construction companies, building services companies, that the Green Deal is just not, in its present form, going to deliver these jobs that the government is talking about. So there's a massive task involved in trying to make sure that this is pulled round. And just to conclude by saying that, you know, the work that the campaign have done to actually try and raise this issue has been fantastic. I was lucky to, I said this at the Oxford meeting, that I was fortunate to be on the trade union delegation that went to Durban for the climate talk. Overall, a very disappointing outcome. But one of the main things that came out of it for me was the fact that we got a chance to meet the delegates that came from all over Africa on the African climate campaign. And, you know, that was very inspirational, the way they came from all parts of the continent, took the message right through all the different countries on the route, and came to Durban and told us about it. And that's what we've got to do with this campaign. It's been a fantastic impetus that's been created here. What we've got to do is make sure these broad alliances that everybody's been talking about are actually developed at community level and driven right into the heart of government policy. So, thank you very much.
Well, thank you. University College Union, I'll learn to put my right glasses on and read the right thing next time round. Now, we've also got a message from Chris Bob, who is, many of you know, the Assistant General Secretary of PCS Union, who can't be here tonight. I'll read it out very briefly. He said, the 1 million climate jobs